Am I the asshole? For yelling at a family in public to put their dog on a leash? Throw away for privacy. This happened a few hours ago. I was walking in a public park, I won't say where, and there was a couple with a child and a dog walking in the opposite direction. The dog had a collar but no leash, and suddenly it ran up to me and jumped onto me with full force, knocking me over onto my back. The parents called it off. I was very, very pissed to say the least, and as soon as I got up I yelled at the top of my lungs, "Put your fucking dog on a fucking leash." The kid started crying and the parents looked pretty shocked and didn't say anything. The park wasn't very crowded, but there were a few other people nearby who looked at us. I left the scene immediately as I did not want to stick around after that. I think one of the people watching said, "Dude, chill out" or something, but I wasn't interested in conversing with anyone at that point. Thinking back, I feel a tiny bit bad, but they were also extremely irresponsible for not having their dog on a leash out in public. Just because they trust it doesn't mean other strangers will, and look what happened. And if they aren't responsible enough to keep their dog on a leash, why should they be responsible for keeping it up to date on its shots? I could have gotten rabies because of those fucking dumbasses. So did I overreact, or was my response warranted? Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. That type of behavior, uncontrolled and reckless, is how the family might eventually find themselves in a situation of a court ordering the dog be put down. Nobody wants that. Not the asshole. Depending on where you are, leash laws dictate any animal needs to be leashed in public. The fact it jumped on you so hard as to knock you over says it was both coming at you with some good speed, and that it is a larger dog. If they didn't want to get yelled at, they shouldn't be letting their dog jump on and knock people over. Not the asshole. What if you had been older and knocking you to the ground broke a bone? They could have been sued. Good for you. Not the asshole. They need to hear that. What if the dog had knocked down an infirm person instead of you and they got injured? Not the asshole. Dogs should be on leashes in public parks. If you were elderly or a small child, you could easily have been hurt. When these accidents happen, it's the dog who gets punished the most. People should just follow the rules. Not the asshole. The dog knocked you over. The owners are being selfish and negligent. How will they feel if their dog is hit by a car, since it is obviously not under their control, or is attacked by another dog? I saw this just last week. Their kid will definitely be crying then, and probably be traumatized too. They definitely should have said sorry to you and asked if you were okay. Not the asshole at all. What if he'd hurt you by knocking you down? Bitten you? Are they going to call you the AH when they're on the hook for your bills and expenses? They're also not doing the dog any favors. BC if he knocks down someone and they're injured. Well, now the dog is probably going to be killed when it's their fault for not trolling him. Not there are leash laws just for events like this. I would have filed a police report. Their dog attacked you. Next time it could be a child or an elderly person who could get seriously hurt. My uncle got a concussion from being knocked down by an unleashed dog in a park. Owner had to pay his medical bills and got a huge fine. For the safety of everyone, always report this type of situation to authorities. Not the asshole. I love dogs, but not everyone does, and not all dogs are cute and cuddly. Some are big and goofy with poor manners, always the owner's fault. They should be grateful you file a report. That's how my friend's mother died. Dog off leash knocked her backwards, skull injury, and died. It's not a joke. Nata. Maybe a wake-up call for these people. Some women let her dog run up towards me and my leashed dog, smiling and saying, "Don't worry, he's friendly." I stared her down and calmly told her mine wasn't. She called her dog back so fast and leashed him up, and got off the trail. You just never know. Why I always keep my knife visible and handy when I hike. Honestly, there is a lot of wildlife, brush to be wary of, but if I ever had to use it, it probably would be against some dog who was off leash. Not the asshole, just the fact that it ran at you, let alone jumping on you, shows it needs to be on a leash. That would be severely traumatizing for anyone who already has PTSD from dogs. People are often very entitled when it comes to their animals and coddle them endlessly. That's intolerable when it affects other people. Not the asshole. Rabies is a bit of an over-exaggeration, but you could most definitely have been injured in the fall. I'm super allergic and have learned to avoid places where leash laws aren't well enforced. The entitled assholes think their dogs won't hurt anyone. Yes, they can. You could have been hurt. It could be an EpiPen trip for me. Someone else could be injured. A service dog could be distracted or traumatized. You are not the asshole. Nope, definitely not the asshole, and definitely didn't overreact. I would have been livid, and I have 2 dogs myself. I would never walk them in public without leashes, especially if the dogs is clearly not properly trained. What would have happened if you were actually injured? They were completely irresponsible and inconsiderate. Not the asshole. Their unleashed, obviously untrained dog could have seriously injured you. Not the asshole. I don't know if you were on a sidewalk or in the grass, but what if you had hit your head on the sidewalk or on a rock? That could have been very dangerous. What if you had brittle bones or some other sort of invisible disability that could have been exacerbated by being shoved down like that? At the very least, you're probably gonna bruise and be a little sore. You shouldn't have to worry about that happening while just walking quietly at a park. If they're going to let their dog off leash, it needs to be at a specific off-leash park, and the dog needs to be trained to behave properly and have good recall. Not the asshole. I'd be pretty upset too if some random dog jumped on me and knocked me to the ground. Did the family even apologize? They should give leash their dog, especially since you said the park was so crowded. I think animals should be on leashes, period. Also, how someone could see an unknown dog jump and push you down and still say chill out. Sorry to the kid for having stupid parents, but not the asshole. Not the asshole. They needed to hear it. Their dog full-on knocked you over. You could have gotten really hurt if you fell just the wrong way or hit your head. It sucks the kid got upset, but the parents, the dog's adult owners, need to be more responsible and keep their dog on a leash when in public. Not all those people deserve whatever bad things happen to them and their dog. Not the asshole. My 67-year-old mother just had 3 ribs broken. BC. An unleashed dog ran up to happily greet her dog who was properly leashed. The dogs knocked her over and she hit the pavement with full force.